pantry room.
Oh wow.
Jeez. Oh, come on. This is totally fun.
That's amazing. It's like a church. It's
Yeah,
like the little
You
chapel.
should call it the chapel of the food.
The chapel of the food. Oh my God.
I can tell, you know,
And
like
rich
I tell
in
my family,
land,
you know,
and-
Mom and Dad gave us a lot of love. We were filthy rich. And as far as food is concerned too, we worked very hard.
Well, you had
worked-
good food.
You had really good food.
Yeah.
You know, now, you know, we
Sad.
eat cans. Who the hell knows
Sad.
what they put in those cans? No?
Yeah.
You know, I was telling my sister in 1972, I went to work as a migrant worker in Wisconsin for a canning factory for Del Monte. And you should see what they did, man. When I left there, I wouldn't eat cans for a long time. I said, what the hell are the inspectors? You know, this was 1971. But you know, well, probably did it in all the cans, but the ones I saw was those commercial cans, you know, that
Yeah,
that
big
go to
ones.
public school, probably,
Oh,
and,
jeez.
or to stores.
Yeah.
There I did it.
Wow.
Let's
And this
see.
is the inside
The
of the
inside of the
cabinet.
cabinet, and I did a little trap door in case I ever have to mess around with the plumbing.
Oh.
See how I did a little trap door around there.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm gonna
idea.
carve. See, all of the faces are gonna be carved like this.
Where do you sit when you carve?
I sit right here and over there, and I have this heater that I carry with me. Mostly a lot of work there.
That's beautiful.
And then I'm gonna do the overheads, and the overheads, all the bottoms are gonna have pie safes.
What's that?
A pie safe, you know, like a little cabinet wire like this to put
Okay.
your pies and your
Okay.
like tortillas and
Oh,
bread
yeah.
and stuff like that. That do,
Okay.
yeah.
So what is this in here?
This is gonna be the dining room.
Uh-huh.
See how I'm doing the ceiling. You know, when I was growing up, there was this lady here that had a coffin. And I used to go see it. It was there in one of the rooms. No? Panel
Yep.
with the old cans. You know, and those cans, I was telling my sister, maybe mom and dad or somebody opened them because I found them right here by the chicken coop.
Oh, that's sweet.
You know.
Oh wow.
The door was open. I went back up to that.
Darker.
Because eventually those are the new ones.
Oh.
Those are the ones I did. This ones I did like 3 years ago. This ones I did this past April and May.
Will they turn that color?
They'll turn that color.
Really?
They're already turning. You can notice them.
Because sometimes when you cut the willows, they look kind of red.
Yeah, no, they'll turn.
They turn brown and then back to
Yeah,
red. Oh, how interesting.
Yeah.
Never knew that.
yeah. Some of this were that color.
Uh-huh. They're beautiful.
And I did them this summer too. That beam wasn't there. I carved it.
It was in place.
I carved it down here, and then we brought it up. Yeah.
Better.
This
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
And here I'm
Something
gonna
over your head.
doing the cabinet for the baking trays.
Uh-huh.
Did a little slots on the
Those are helpful.
put the
Well, what are you going to do? Get a wife or something, babe?
this is the laundry room. I did a different cabinet for the detergents.
Ah. Wow. Fancy laundry room.
Cute.
And these are some of the crosses that I saw for the art tour.
Oh yeah.
Crosses, and I have mirror frames and walking sticks. And then here I did a door with old barn board. See how
Have you
I...
ever seen Moroccan architecture or furniture?
Then I did little nichos to do little wood carvings, no? And all these boards were touched by me and my daddy because my daddy and I built this barn around 1964.
Okay. How old are you now?
I'm 6. I'm gonna be sitting upstairs and I'll show you the top part. Come on upstairs. New York Times did an article 2 years ago. And I carving bultos because a lot of people ask me, you don't have any bultos for sale, no.
Oh,
Yeah.
And so that's why I started carving them. In the wintertime, they're nice to, like when you're watching TV and
Yeah.
carving, and
that is nice.
they sell, no. And here I did a tooth of a backhoe that I found. I just welded a stem to put the matches.
For the matches. Perfect.
And go on in and check out the bathroom.
I love this. It just reminds me
There's a
of
light
this
right next to it. Go on in and see the ceiling.
That's good plastering.
Yeah, I did plastering it myself, no.
Wow. What a lot of work.
All the lath.
Oh my God.
No, it makes it really
Just
good.
getting it ready, no. And I,
Oh my
I installed the tile myself. I put the tile in the shower.
And what are you going to plaster with?
I want to do all different. Let me go in. I did. Come on. I want to do all different. Every room's going to have a different texture because I want it to be like Truchas style, not the New Mexico style.
Yeah.
Then I did a little cabinet. It's adobe, no.
Yeah.
And back here I did a cabinet for the pillow. See, and every room will have a different texture. Then I did a window because I was leaving the light on.
Do you get commissions too? People commission
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, people come and see me, and a couple of years ago I was commissioned to build a coffin,
Oh.
and I've already built 7 of them.
Oh.
I've built 7. The last one I built for my cousin. No. Yeah. Little cabinet for the extinguisher. Come on in here. That's a-
Oh, it's toasty.
Sweet. See how I did the fur
Yep.
and the ceiling. Fire going here.
Now this is where you hang out. Look, Poppy.
I was just reading this a while. This morning I was looking at this and I saw some work by Nikolai Fechin.
Yeah.
Here I saw it this morning. This past winter I started making a violin. Look, I made a violin. I had to
sweet.
get the strings. Yeah, I made it this past other winter, not this winter, the last winter. I had to get the strings on it.
That is so
And it's really going to play.
It's gonna play according to the musician next door.
Ah,
As a matter of fact, he said he was gonna get me the strings.
great.
Does he play violin?
He plays violin, but I was telling him he's already in his late 80s, and now for the posadas, he played it, but he's an old man now, and I was telling his son you should take a recording of him before he passes away, because he's already in his late. He did amazing that I just went crazy. I was standing right next to him, and I saw him. He was like asleep, and he just went like, and I said, son of a, this guy's incredible. Go on in and see the
All
chapel.
right.
There's the chapel.
Definitely want to see the chapel. Look at this beautiful cabinet.
Yeah, I did a cabinet there for the CDs.
Terrific. That's great. Who wouldn't want to have one like that? And what about the paint? You make stuff.
I make it myself.
And what do you call this
I
color?
call it Truchas blue and Truchas green. There's a light right next there on the
It's good, I
inside.
can go in then.
Go on in.
Thank you.
Go days.
What's that?
Days.
Yeah, that Nikolai Pacini was an incredible guy, no?
Yeah.
Are you in here? Am I going to squeeze you? Am I shut the door?
I painted the house myself.
Oh my God! Look at this ceiling. That's unbelievable.
I carve every day.
I built houses and I have Japanese planes I use.
Oh,
And I have one that, they have a curved blade.
okay.
So I would use those and take the roughs on and then just surface them with that.
There's a cap for the window to cover the window at night. Yeah.
But that's not carving, that's surfacing. It's like you chipping. You don't want anything to show that hadn't been touched, right?
Yeah.
So you touch everything.
Sit down. When I left school, I went to study to become a court reporter. And I did that for a while. And then it got too boring. So I ran into this guy. He lived here in Truchas. He was an Italian. The mafia had killed his father. His name was Ricardo Vigliano, and he was doing some cabins at the Tauski Valley. And he took me to work there, and that's where I first started doing cabinets, because he did the kitchen cabinets. And then I started, but I had always done wood carving ever since I can remember. You know, my daddy always had wood. My daddy always had cedar. And around 1964, I carved a little heart, and I sold it to this girl for 25 cents. And I remember I sold it to her for 25 cents. Well, a couple of years ago, when the New Mexico magazine did an article, she called me and she said, you know, I saw the article on you in the New Mexico magazine. She said, and you mentioned the little heart. She said, I still have it. So I went to see it. She has it. I carved it in 1963, and I said, let me buy it from you. I said I would love to buy it and make a nicho and put it, because that's the first thing I remember carving. She said, no, it's not for sale. No. I sold it to her for $0.25. And you know, I was telling my sister, you know, I think it turned out good, considering that I was in the 5th, 6th grade. No, yeah. The heart is beautiful, and she's kept it. And I said, well, if you never want to sell it to me, maybe someday when you pass away, you can give it to me in your will. I would love to have it back. Yeah, it's a beautiful little heart. It was about this big art tour. I'm on the art tour now.
Yeah.
This past year I wasn't on it, but this coming year I will be.
How cool.
Yeah. Oh, let me show you
Who did the painting?
We don't know. My sister found that painting in a yard sale.
Wow.
And she said, you know, it reminded me of you and my other brother.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
My other brother had passed away. That's him when he was 17 years of age.
Oh.
What happened to him?
He had an appendix rupture.
Oh.
Yeah, it was 1965. He was 17 years of age. As a matter of fact, now on the 15th of January, it's going to be 50 years that he passed away. I was in the 6th grade, and he was a senior in high school. And he had I guess he had a pain. I remember that mom said that they had taken him to the hospital in Hispano. He had a pain on his side, and I guess his appendix ruptured. Governor's Gallery, when Governor Johnson was there, through the apprenticeship program, that's the one we took to the Governor's Gallery.
Oh, yeah.
There's the coffin that I built.
Oh. Wow. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
That's nice.
And I built it right here, as you can see the pictures. I built it right here. I have 7 of them.
Wow. And what kind of wood?
It's Ponderosa pine and cedar. And here I did one out of Ponderosa pine. I stained it blue.
A blue coffin.
Yeah, we buried my cousin in it. I built it for him. No. This one was for my cousin. That's my brother. My brother is still alive. He lives in Santa Fe. And here I did a funeral board. This lady from the street that has a sister up here came from New York to die here in Truchas. And they later, those are designs of some religion. See the handles for the pallbearers. And I called the mortician because he said, make sure that you don't have any metal. Because of the, I don't know. Because of the crematory, I guess.
Oh.
That looks like the home sign. It is.
I don't know what design it is, but I had to do those designs and do those collars on it. No.
Yeah?
And I think they cremated her in it.
Oh. So no metal.
No metal. Because I talked to McGee from Santa Fe. He said, make sure that you don't have any metal in it. I said, I won't. There's the cup. Well, the New York Times came. They called and they came. I was watching Little House on the Prairie last night. I love to watch Little House on the Prairie. That's why I made that violin, because that guy from Little House on the Prairie, I was playing it just for Mr. What's his name? My sister is always buying me stuff, because I love Gunsmoke and Little House on the Prairie. There it is, look.
part of work of art in Truchas, New Mexico. It's been nearly 30 years of work and it's not finished yet. The owner and artist is getting worldwide attention and we have the chance to check out the masterpiece ourselves.
The intention of it was to just build in a beautiful personal house for myself, but then I think it got out of control because I just carved and carved and carved and carved and carved, and I guess it is my legacy.
Isobro Ortega has been working on Casa de Las Nubes, or the House in the Clouds, in Truchas since 1984. No blueprint, just his wood carving and carpentry skills, and a desire to create something no one's ever seen before.
Things that you've never seen, like the cactus in that chapel. Those are incredible things that I think it's a gift from our Lord. He gave me a gift, and I love using it.
Isobro's faith and religion have always been an inspiration, and you can see that just by looking around. Religious symbols are everywhere. So you might think he'd be working to monk chants, church hymns, or even organ music.
This house has been built with music.
But it's songs from the British rock invasion of the 60s that really does it for him. Isobro says that was a time when creativity in music and art was running rampant.
The song, and I go crazy, I'm listening to the radio, or I'm listening to a CD, and I'm carving, and it's like, you listen to Eric Burns sing boom, 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 The House of the Rising Sun. It just gives me like Superman, gives me a talent to keep on working.
The other encouragement and inspiration has come from his family. 30 years of work, but Isobro isn't keeping track of the time or the money he's put into it.
Who knows? I've been working on it since 1984, and I've enjoyed every second of it. And I never had a blueprint. I just built it, and I think it turned out all right considering that I didn't have a blueprint. I just built and built and built.
I think it turned out all right, too. Isobro is hoping that the home might be a bed and breakfast someday. If you want to see it for yourself, he's in Truchas, New Mexico. Head to the old church in the middle of town. If you don't find him there, ask around. Isobro is always more than happy to share his work.
I want to just go up there and hang out with him.
I know, listen to music.
Yeah. Especially when all the music is playing, all the carving is going on. Fantastic.
Yay.
Directly from you.
Oh, I was astonished from the New York Times called, and I'm a recovering alcoholic now. I've been recovering for 8 years now. As a matter of fact, yesterday was 8 years that I stopped. And I had a girlfriend, and we used to get drunker than drunk, man. And she used to call me because ever since the beginning of time, my dream was to be in Architectural Digest, the New York Times, and she used to call me drunker than drunk, and say, this is somebody with the New York Times. And when I was drinking, then later on, I never saw her after I sobered up. I've been sober for 8 years now. Anyway, when the New York Times called, I told my sister, I bet you it was my ex-girlfriend, because this lady called and I hung up on her. It was the lady from the New York Times. Then she called back. She had a laugh when I told her. These people from this architect from Dallas told her about me, and they came and she came by herself and did an interview. Mm-hmm. Then they sent a photographer, and he spent a couple of hours here, and they did a nice article. Got me a lot of business, in those days after the article came out. I was selling a lot of stuff like in the Denver area, the Dallas, Texas area. And I sent some work to California, to Van Nuys, California.
Nice. Sure enough.
Yeah, and for the art tour, I've sold to like people from North Carolina, Baltimore. We get a lot of people from those areas for the art tour. This past year I wasn't on it, but this year I am.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on it because
When is it?
It's the last 2 weekends of September.
September next year.
The last 2 weekends. Yeah. See, and like I said, I get a lot of people that come from other years. They said, we noticed that you weren't on the art tour, but can we come on? And I tell them,
Si me prestan tus ojos morenos, del alma.